Know if the sound's not working properly. Every once in a while it decides just not to craft. Morning everyone. We're gonna get started. Alright. US stocks had a good session last night. Pushing higher to that all-time closing high in the S&P. I think we closed within 2 points of the all-time high on the S&P, and we closed at new all-time highs on the Dow. Consumer confidence and new home sales were a little bit disappointing, but I think there's nothing that's going to stop us from getting this number today. I think today we get that break on the S&P, barring any big surprises, and I think the rally could continue for some time, maybe into a little sell them and go away situation. And Asian indices also obviously had a reasonable night overnight. Japan's a little bit misleading. You can see there the mixed sector performance out of Japan, but apparently something like 80% of the dividend-paying companies in Japan went ex-div today. So I think that's a reason why Japan had some of that underperformance. The Australian market was a little bit stronger overnight. We had some of the commodity shares that's traded a little bit better. It goes on the back of some of the stuff that we had tweeted about yesterday, saying commodity stocks finally started to look like they had some sort of life yesterday. And you saw JP Morgan also that upgraded Fortescue Metals, which is the iron ore company, saying they raised them from neutral to overweight. So I think that's positive considering all the downgrades we've had on iron ore and iron ore stocks, and also obviously bullish for some of our local miners that are iron ore producers. All right, a lot of stocks going ex-div tomorrow. So last day to trade today: ABSA, Nedbank, RMI, and AVI. A couple big ones on the banking side. So watch for those today. Could be a little bit of action there. The divvy strip has worked quite nicely in a lot of shares lately. So guys could be coming to those. There's also an interesting note out as well from Russian Resources Minister Donskoy yesterday, saying that they're considering to create something similar to OPEC between Russia and South Africa. I think Russia and South Africa are somewhere between 80 and 85% of the world's platinum production. So if they did something like that, I think in my mind it's probably really bullish for platinum prices. Obviously OPEC really controls oil prices and manipulates them to the upside a little bit. So just the talk of that could really get a little bit of interest back into some of our platinum miners. So just keep an eye on that space today, just in case it does have some effect. Market data out today. We've got French GDP. We got Spanish retail sales and CPI. We've got fourth quarter GDP out of the UK as well. Then we've got consumer confidence out of the Eurozone at 12. And then later in the States, we've got mortgage apps and pending home sales. But nothing I would say is incredibly important today. The one thing that I would keep some sort of an eye on maybe at around 11:30 is the UK fourth quarter GDP. The reason why I say that is because you've got, if you have a big surprise there one way or another, you could see a reasonable move in the pound. We get a reasonable move in the pound that could affect a lot of our dual listeds, on the moment. So something interesting to look out for today at 11:30. But other than that, not much. All right, let's have a look at the maps. Okay, first thing I want to have a look at here is the Aussie spot chart. You can see here, this chart's actually not looking incredibly bullish, but what I wanted to show, obviously we've talked about this level before, is a 36,000 level, which we've opened basically right at this morning. I think we're at 36,005. Really important level. Obviously, it's been a major inflection point for us. And you can see it there. We've really just been under it and kind of going up and testing it for the last little while after we broke down below it. You can see how important this thing's been on the year chart. You can see it on the 30-day chart. So if we get back above 36,000 today, could be something could give us a little catalyst. I firmly believe, in my opinion, we'll take out the closing highs tonight on the S&P. I don't think, unless there's a drastic incident, I don't think there's anything that can stop us. So obviously that'll be bullish for our index, and we could have a little bit of legs on the back of that. But I think it's really important also to note that tomorrow's quarter end. Pretty much, around a lot of the major world. I think U.S., obviously UK here, all the Christian world will be quarter end as of tomorrow. So we could also get a little bit of push out of that. So you kind of got S&Ps that are going to break new highs potentially tonight, going into quarter end tomorrow. It could be something really important to look out for. So just watch that space over the next day or two. All right, Standard Bank on a show in two different lengths of time. We broke out of this kind of flag pattern that we've been in forever and a day in Standard Bank on a closing basis yesterday. But what I think is more important than that is looking back 10 year. I mean, we've tested 120 a couple times over the past month and a half, and it's just a matter of time here before we really break out from the monster flag pattern. That's a 10-year chart on Standard Bank, and we break 120. I can't stress enough, guys, when we get a close above 120, we got to be on this train. This thing is going to absolutely explode if it breaks above 120 on the closing basis. I have a feeling that what we'll see it trade above 120. Probably once we get that day that does it close above 120, it'll probably close at like 122.50, and then you'll get a next day move of another $4 or $3 or something like that, and it'll really go up through there quickly. So just really pay attention to that. This chart is incredibly bullish long-term chart. A break above 120 here is something that we really need to pay attention to and get on the back up if it happens. All right, Imperial, Stifler was pointing this one out yesterday. Imperial broke up through resistance here. Is really, really clearly defined chart. We've actually been talking about this one for a little bit. I think we got head faked a little bit on this little break up here, but it was kind of a smaller move through. We have moved hard over the last kind of 5 trading days. I think we've moved up about 13 rand or so, but still, the breakouts have been the better plays in our market for a long time now. So keep an eye on Imperial today. If you're bullish the market, I think it could be a really good one to jump on the back of. Impala, I want to show. I know we've looked at this before, but I just want to look at it again, especially on the back of the talk with the Russian and South African potential venture to produce a kind of OPEC type body. 138 really been the inflection point on this down move, and when we got to realize we pulled back off of about $175, traded all the way down to about 132, 133. And now we've kind of been bumping our head against 138 for a while now. Starting to look like we could break out after yesterday's action across the board in miners was really strong. I think a break and a close above 138, I potentially might look to really nibble here a little bit as well. I think it could be, it's obviously a major inflection point, and if we get a nice close above, I'm probably going to get on the back of that one. Another one that looks very similar to that is Trueworths. Trueworths has been kind of the dog of the retailers as of late, besides maybe Steinhoff, and you can see there we've started to make over the past kind of 5-6 sessions, we're making higher and higher lows, and still kind of coming up and testing 92. We closed at 91.5 yesterday. It's the best close we've had, I think, in a few days. We did get a 92 close, I think, back here around the 20th. But if we can get a close, if we get above 92, I think this thing can really rocket. In my mind, we'll almost immediately test 96, which is really the next level that has to break through. And if we get above 96, then we're going to be looking out even further, probably somewhere along the lines of testing, closer to $100, $102, somewhere in there. But I think there's some opportunity in Trueworths if we can break above that level. ShopRite we talked about a few days ago as well. I'm on the wrong chart here. We talked about a few days ago and the potential of it breaking through this level. And yesterday we did get the break through this level. So I particularly missed this one intraday. Yesterday was a good opportunity once we got above it. But we got a nice close above it nonetheless. Really, really bullish breakout to me. What I'd like to see as well today is if you go back on a year chart, I don't know if you guys remember, but when this thing was breaking down off of its all-time highs, we talked about this being a very critical level at $183. Well, that's exactly where we closed yesterday. 183 was kind of you can see there, it's kind of the shoulder line of what that head and shoulders pattern was. So if we do get above 183 this morning, and are starting to trade there, I really want to see a close above 183. But if we did close above 183, I mean, you can see there's nothing in the middle here, and I would really expect a nice upward push if we get a close above 183. Still bullish that we've broken out of this little slumping shoulder here, but watch Sharpies today. We do get a nice move upward. I think it's actually a real signal to jump on the back of it. Okay, and then the last one I'm going to show is just is Facebook for you U.S. account punters. And we've got a beautiful head and shoulder pattern. I could have shown this one yesterday, but I chose to show Yahoo. This one was also on the table yesterday. I did look at it, but it gave us another day. Today it didn't really do much yesterday. But you can see here, here's really the neckline that we've broken below as of day before yesterday. And could have quite a bit of further downside. If you take it from the top of the head, I mean that's we're looking all the way down to probably close to this 118 level, which would be testing all-time lows. So it could have a hell of a lot of downside on Facebook in terms of a technical move here. So keep an eye on that one. All right, and that's it for today, guys. Thanks a lot.